Your entire Wi-Fi?
I say I turned it off.
All right, I'm live. Am I live? Okay, oh, wait. I'm live. I need to just turn this around. What's the thing? Oh, there we go. Okay, there I am. All right, so if you can see and hear me, please let me know. And we are now live. Oh, okay, there's Regina. Okay, so I'm just looking to have someone say that they can see and hear me.
Oh, I see somebody.
All right, we got a
Hello.
heart. Okay, all right. Moving forward, you didn't miss anything.
Except maybe Scott's beautiful singing.
Just
wants to join you on video.
no, ignore that. Okay, just go.
Hello, Debbie Ray. Okay. Hello. Welcome. She changed my view. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, all right.
Because I don't usually look virtually. Oh, there's a thumbs up. Oh, hi, Regina. Okay. Hi. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Princeton. Love is in the air all over. Resourcefulness is there. And that's how we roll. We are a loving, healing, and inclusive community which teaches and practices the principles of science of mind for the well-being and spiritual growth of ourselves and the world. Did I introduce myself? Regina Quince. Okay, now I did it again. All right. We have some announcements, and Susan keeps texting me announcements. So let's see if I can come up with that. Let me do the one I just got from Susan. Reminder for the people in the mental equivalent class this Monday night at 7:30 is a check-in opportunity. We will chat and meditate and participate in an exercise. and a thank you from Susan. More from Susan. She's busy and doing our work. Join us on November the 20th at 10:30. So that's next Sunday. For our annual Gratitude Sunday. It's a wonderful opportunity to light the light on all of our blessings and spend time in community with others as we participate in gratitude practices and share simple fare. And when she says simple fare, she is talking about, let us know who would like to contribute. Let her know who would like to contribute a soup or a salad, bread, dessert, or simple fare. And she already thanks you for your generosity. Susan, I'm going to volunteer water and iced tea and a coffee cake. How's that? Okay. Reverend Karen will not be at the Masonic for this community gratitude celebration. She will post a Sunday lesson on our Facebook page. So you won't miss anything, but we welcome you to join us and be together face to face in the community. Oh, and the last announcement, December the 11th, is our 4th annual Giving Tree Sunday. And Susan will let us know more about what that entails. So thank you. And we're still on. Hello, I see some hellos, so that's good. All right, love is in the air. Here's my sharing for today. During my weekly call with my prayer partner, Joanne, who lives in Rhode Island, and we've been together for about 4 years now, I shared with her a recent demonstration I experienced. It happened quickly, and the quickness really caught my attention. I had casually said to two of my walking group members about something that would be nice to happen to me, and 2 hours later, it did. I asked her, Joanne, what she thought made the demonstration so immediate. Her answer was love. That love was the element. What I desired was cloaked in a loving feeling about it. There was love in me towards what I would receive. I thought, aren't I always loving towards me? This made me look at my list of 20 things from our Worthy Project homework and what I wanted in return. My list of things had a lot of feelings of struggle, lack, and I added woundedness, maybe even brokenness towards me. It did not feel like that warm, cuddly feeling I had when I had casually posed my desire to my walking group. That feeling was so kind and cuddly towards me, loving towards me, inside of me. Maybe I can say it was a worthy kindness towards me and not a desperate cry of worthiness, hard, obligatory, and maybe angry. I can feel the difference when I look at my list. I know for me, I'm adopting through greater awareness my feelings towards what I desire. I'm investing in to go deeper within to find the source of my non-cuddliness feeling. I desire the joy of desiring in love towards me. That warm, cuddly, smiling love I give me. Knowing it is my inside that affects my outside. Or, like Dennis Merritt Jones wrote in this month's Science of Mind magazine, quote, we are always becoming cause to our own effect. Happy contemplation. Thank you. Uh-oh.
Let me get on camera here. Hello. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Through many dangers, toils, and snares I have already come. 'Tis grace hath brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. The Lord has promised good to me. His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Yes, when this flesh and heart shall fail, and mortal life shall cease, I shall possess within the veil a life of joy and peace. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. The earth shall soon dissolve like snow, the sun forbear to shine, but God who called me here below will be forever mine. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever more.
I already feel nurtured and loved, so we're staying here, but we could perfectly go home. Thank you, Scott. Hello, everyone. I'm Damaris Otero-Torres. I'm a practitioner here at the center, and I'm delighted to be the practitioner of the day. So before I start this contemplative moment, I just want to remind everyone that we will be celebrating our 4th World Healing Meditation Day on December 31st. It's at 7 o'clock in the morning via Zoom, so you don't even have to get dressed. You can keep your cameras off. All we need is that you show up, you open up your hearts, and join us in this moment in which we truly connect with that light within us to light the world. That's all we do. And I promise we will open the Zoom room, the virtual room, at 6:40. We will start promptly at 6:45 in the morning. At 7, we will join people around the world that are doing the same thing. This activity has been done for 38 years. It was initiated by my mentor and friend, John Randolph Price, and his wife. And we're lucky enough to be on the east side, because people that are in California do this at 4 o'clock in the morning. So this is not bad at all. Actually, I had the pleasure of doing this with John when he was still alive, and Jan, actually, in their last gathering together. So for me, this is a very special occasion. So please just mark your calendars. We will be sending the link and everything, and you can tell your friends here in New Jersey and all over the world. Okay, so we've been getting more and more people attending as we've been doing this. So just mark your calendars. The second thing I want to ask everyone before I do this contemplative moment, send us your requests for treatment. We are 14 practitioners. We treat for ourselves every day. We don't mind including you in our... We do this every day anyway. So give us some work, because truly, Doing spiritual mind treatments, a very selfish sense, in the sense that I grow deeper and higher in my own consciousness. So by helping the people that send the request, I'm truly helping myself, and I'm helping the world to heal. So, we're in this connected, and send us your work. Just send an email, and we'll do express treatment for you. That is, because express doesn't mean it's not powerful. So I just want to clarify that. And so I want to start this contemplative moment by reading something from The Power of Decision by Dr. Raymond Charles Barker. And it's interesting. We don't usually talk about what's going to happen and what each one of us is going to be contributing to the service. But divine intelligence is always at work. So this actually ties beautifully, I think, with what Regina said. It's called Watch Your Alibis. So, because many times our moments of contemplation are conditioned by moments of condemnation. So let's see what he says. I quote him. As a thinker, you determine your experience. There is nothing to oppose you but your own subconscious patterns of separation, lack, or failure. Make mental notes of your alibis and excuses for your mistakes. These will reveal to you the patterns in your subconscious mind which need to be negated by you. The spirit within you wants to see yourself as you have created yourself. Seeing your own self-creation, you can then, through mental treatment, gradually uproot your deeply rooted patterns and replace them with what you want in the world. Regina, you spoke about this. Ernest Holmes wrote, "There is no sin but a mistake, and no punishment," and I love what he says next, "but an inevitable consequence." God can only do for you what you do for yourself. So wake up right now to a great fact of life. You and you alone are responsible for your life. Intelligence created you and set you free on a path of self-discovery and self-decision. Your problems are unintelligence functioning in a field of intelligence. They hurt because they are, I'm going to take my time saying this, unnecessary. Most people hug their problems to their bosoms. They place the tentacles of worry and fear around the problem so that it cannot go away. They give their whole attention to it. They think and feel it. Then they rethink and refeel it. These people glory in their martyrdom, or I would say righteousness too, and believe themselves to be made virtuous because of their suffering. My dearest John Randolph Price usually said that what delays your spiritual growth or progress is not what you don't know, but what you think you know. So in that light, I'm also going to share with you statement, a short meditation from Emma Curtis Hopkins that to me capture the essence of this radical trust. And it says, I will do nothing to preserve my health. My health is the health of the spirit. I will do nothing for my strength. My strength is the strength of the spirit. I will do nothing for my defense. My defense is the protection of the Holy Spirit. I will do nothing for my thoughts. My mind is the mind of spirit. I will do nothing for my speech. My speech is the voice of spirit. I will do nothing to be joyful. My joy is the joy of spirit. I will do nothing to make myself loving or beloved. For all is the Holy Spirit acting with irresistible goodness through me. I am light, and love is my holy function. I am light, and love is my holy function. And so it is. So it is.
Once again. I believe for every drop of rain that falls, a flower grows. I believe that somewhere in the darkest night a candle glows. I believe for everyone who goes astray, someone will come to show the way. I believe, I believe. I believe above a storm, the smallest prayer will still be heard. I believe that someone in the great somewhere hears every word. Every time I hear a newborn baby cry, or touch a leaf, or see the sky, then I know why. I believe.
Okay, so we've got a lot of stuff going on here. Let me take a moment to make sure we're plugged and we're ready. All right, there I am. Okay. No surprises to me that we're having difficulty with the internet and other various distractions, because our topic this morning is chasing and avoiding, and distractions are really good for that. And so we are using this book by Meadow DeVor. I think that there was so much value in this particular section that I'm going to break it up into two. So stay tuned. We've got to prepare ourselves, because chasing and avoiding serves the purpose of not feeling what you are feeling. And so our emotions are really what this is about. She has talked to us in this worthy project about the importance of accepting your true self, and our emotions are guideposts as to where we really are, what we are really believing, what we are really feeling. When we feel like we are not fully in touch with what's going on, when we don't feel really present, when we dissociate a little bit, when we're scattered, it's a great way of not owning how you really are. And she tells us that our biggest mistake in not owning who we really are is idealizing who we think we should be. And so whenever we compare ourselves to what we think we should be, or what we think we should be doing, or how we think we should be feeling, whenever we bring an idealized image of ourselves into our mind, maybe it was given to us as a child being raised, the world certainly has a strong opinion of who we should be and how we should be, the idealized version, right? Just look at any commercial. And none of that has anything to do with who we truly are. So self-acceptance, our true self-acceptance, always builds our self-worth. And comparing ourselves to anything that's not who we truly are, an idealized self or other people, will always make us feel more worth less. So that's the answer. So if you're not feeling happy and pleased with yourself, it's because you've probably got that idealized self going with you, right? So the idealized me has the internet working. And sorry, that's not the true Karen right now. But our emotions are important. And so, and all of them. And so the idealized version of a human, and in self-help groups, we really go to town with this, right? The idealized version is we only have happy emotions. And what that does is reject an inbuilt guidance system that's necessary for us to always honor our true self. Because what we would call uncomfortable emotions, emotions we don't like to feel, are actually letting us know, get in touch with your true self. You've gone astray. You've let someone cross your boundary. You aren't realizing that you're feeling very deeply about a loss. I have a very good friend. She retired from her professional career, which was her whole lifetime. And she's been experiencing a series of misadventures. And what I want to say to her is, my gosh, a part of your self-expression that was your identity for your adult lifetime and even longer is over. And so there might be sadness there. And that's okay to acknowledge that. Because that's your true self. The true self wants to acknowledge, I've let go of something. My children have grown. My Meadow gives an example of how when she got in touch with why she was procrastinating about something, when she really got in touch, she realized that there's a sadness about her daughter going off to college. So these things that are important to us are important to us. And so rejecting their importance to us is not valuing our true selves. And she points out that there's a human attitude now toward emotions, like suck it up, or just don't feel that way. And we can certainly use this beautiful science of mind teaching to devalue ourselves and our emotions and our experiences by saying, no, you just got to know the truth. And that's what I would call is a spiritual bypass. Because the spiritual bypass is not overruling where we are in any particular moment. I mean, that is a spiritual bypass, but spiritual truth is attained by going deep into where we really are. So say we're miserable. Say our lives are a mess, according to our idealized picture of ourselves. The answer is going deep into who we really are by admitting, I don't have an answer. I don't know what I'm doing. Because we're making ourselves real when we do that. When we say to ourselves or to the world, I'm okay, everything is fine, that's okay if you're saying it to the world, in my opinion, because it's none of the world's business who I am and what I'm going through. But it's what I say to myself. In those quiet moments, I get quiet and I ask myself, what does Karen feel? What does Karen want? And I will tell you, Karen, and I've shared this with you before, is just not that fabulous being that I know all of you would really admire. She's a bit unglued. And to admit that to myself is an experience of accepting love, of allowing love, right? That beautiful song, how could anyone ever tell you that you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you that you were less than whole? How could you tell you you are anything less than beautiful? When you look in a mirror, when I look at this picture of myself being broadcast, how could I dare, how dare you, dear Karen, say that you are anything less than beautiful, less than whole? And how could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? This is something that we need to say to our true selves. We have to honor and acknowledge that. And every single time I really pay attention to where I'm at, to my feelings. I might feel vulnerable, but I always feel humble and loved. Right? Amazing grace that saved a wretch like me. Only when we are honest with ourselves that I'm feeling like a wretch right now can we experience amazing grace. But if we're avoiding and chasing our emotions, we are actually avoiding our true self. And we cannot feel love. Because you may love me, but you love the image I'm projecting. And I'm not loving me. I'm loving the image I'm projecting. But the real me, the real me, the real you, right? The real us is far more amazing than we can imagine. Complex, contradictory, the whole gamut of emotions. And when we are in touch with all that we are, my gosh, we're alive. We are present to ourselves, present to yourselves. So she points out these behaviors of avoiding and chasing to realize that what we want to do the next couple of weeks is be aware of when we are avoiding and chasing these behaviors, because there are probably emotions, negative emotions, that we don't want to feel. She has as a definition in here, which I did put into the notes, which disappeared through our many logging on, logging off, whatever. Chasing. Chasing is an unconscious attempt to get to a better feeling. So if I'm chasing, maybe I don't want to face that I feel like I'm a total mess and a failure. So I might start chasing. All right, let's get things done. Let's clean the whole house. Let's get my to-do list and cross things off. I feel better as I cross something off the list. For me, that's a chasing behavior if what I'm doing is avoiding that feeling, my whole life's awful. I'm making myself feel better. See, these chasing and avoiding behaviors might not be considered, what we do might not be considered to be bad things. Like, that's a good thing to do. Get things done. Clean your house. That's a good thing to do. And yet, when it's used to avoid how you're feeling, you're out of touch with who you truly are. Right? And so you end up, right? Years ago, those of you who were around when I was involved with leadership in our organization and we were integrating, I had an infinite ways to distract myself and feel better. Go to a committee meeting, get this little report done, do this little thing, do that little thing. I was making myself feel better and better and better. And when it was all over, I was a physical wreck because I hadn't been paying attention to the true self-care, and that was going, what are you doing all this for? And what do you do? This is your life. You're running down your health? For what? Oh, it's very, very important. Yes, it is. It was very, very important. And my contribution was very important. And I'm really grateful for every moment of it. But what happened to Karen during all of that? She wasn't taken care of by Karen. So chasing makes us feel good, and we're probably doing good. But what also needs to be present is the real you, right? And when we do take care of ourselves, right, we bring in balance. We learn how to say no, right? She says we set our boundaries. We say, that's it. No. One of the reasons you all know, if you've been around for a while, you know I love David Allen and his book, Getting Things Done. The reason why I love it is he's describing a state of consciousness where you are fully aware of all your commitments and you're able to be in the moment and make a decision. No, no, no. And one of the things I discovered as I listed all of my commitments, I realized if I have them all listed, it's really easy to say no to the next request for my time and my energy and my effort. I get to say, I'm overbooked. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'd love to, but I have all these other commitments I've made. And that's a step forward of honoring my true self. She also gives us the behavior of avoiding. Avoiding is the unconscious attempt to get away from a bad feeling. Again, it could be a positive behavior as measured by the world or negative. But avoiding can lead us to various ways of suppressing our feelings. For me, definitely, food was used almost my whole life until I became a minister here, actually. Food was a great emotion suppressor. And so if I was really filled with a lot of anxiety, I would tend to eat because it would actually physically suppress that anxious feeling in my body. So it served a purpose. And when I got strong enough or spiritually prepared enough to face what's really going on with me, I took that moment before eating when I really wanted to eat. I was looking forward to it. I had my favorite comfort foods and a book all set up on the table, and everything in me just wanted to start chowing down because it would be delicious and I would feel good in a little while. I decided to stop and feel what I was feeling. And it was awful. We avoid feeling uncomfortable feelings. And the emotion that I felt was sadness, loneliness, an intense, unbearably painful loneliness. And I felt it for the first time. And I thought, oh, that was awful. But I lived. It didn't kill me. And really, from that point on, I haven't had that need to eat to suppress that particular emotion. I've been free of that. I'll eat for other good reasons, but not that one. And as a result, I'm able to acknowledge when I'm feeling lonely, when I'm feeling sad, and to just be there with myself. I don't have to fix it. When your emotions are there to be felt, they don't need to be fixed. They don't need to go away. They go away on their own. When we pay attention to them, they get expressed. It's like water's all built up in us. And when you open up the faucet and you express it, you feel it, and then it's gone. But what she points out, and what we all certainly know, is if we don't feel the emotion, it builds up, and then it just gets worse. It explodes all over the place. We might start feeling desperate. And she points out it might drive us into various addictive behaviors. We have people who, engage in lots of behaviors that they know aren't for their greatest good, but they can't stop themselves. Why? Because the true self is demanding attention through emotion. And all we have to do is acknowledge the emotion, feel it. I mean, maybe you need to hang on to somebody's hand while you're feeling it. I've certainly done that. I went through, I was with a group, a spiritual group, and we were going to take turns going into what we called the void of our being. And we all were holding hands as each one of us, we went around the circle, went into the void, and then came out of it, whatever. So everybody's going into the void and coming out of it all smiley, whatever. And they're going around the circle. They get to me. Well, I'm going into the void, and I'm like grabbing onto their hands. I'm breaking their poor little knuckles and everything else. And I'm crying and I'm sobbing. And they're all looking at me going, where the hell is she going? Because they didn't go there. But that, my true self, going into the void, that's what it was. I'm hysterical. I'm crying. The whole thing. I mean, my void was filled with a lot of emotion. But once I got through it all, I didn't die. And all that emotion was gone. And then I did begin to laugh. So, honoring your true self requires us to be where we are, right? Science of Mind says, begin where we are. And just that acknowledgement of where we are starts opening the doors to move us to where we really want to be, feeling what we really want to feel. But the only way to being where we want to be and feeling what we want to feel is through where we are, even with all of its wretchedness. That's the way. The way to the divine self is to acknowledge your real self. It's in. That's what the inward means. Not the outer self. I'm going to run more. But into the real self that feels, I'm afraid I'll get sick. And so I need to make sure I'm healthy. So she tells us, right? Is that enough for an introduction? Oh my gosh. She says the behaviors of chasing and avoiding unconsciously distract us from uncomfortable emotions. They help us cope. They numb, avoid, repress, or ignore our feelings. And something that distracts us and offers a hit of short-term gratification is what these behaviors are, like eating a bag of chips, binge watching TV, Netflix, right? Drinking, smoking, shopping, getting lost in the colorful world of your cell phone. All of these offer short-term gratification rather than long-term satisfaction. Long-term satisfaction. She says, it can look something beneficial, like going for a run, rushing cupcakes to your daughter's third grade classroom, madly organizing your sock drawer, which is what she did. The behavior can take almost any form, but the root cause of the behavior, denial and repression of your emotion, keeps us stuck in a worthless cycle. So our self-worth requires us to accept ourselves and our bodies and how we are feeling in the moment, how we are. We begin there. Reverends Marcia Sutton and Lloyd Strom had a worksheet that said, pray from the kingdom you're in. Now, being in Science of Mind, we all go, let's treat, right, let's treat. Let's know the truth, but we're not always in that kingdom of self-mastery, which is where spiritual mind treatment is at its best. Too often, right, we're in the lowest kingdom. I'm a victim. I'm powerless, totally powerless. So rather than pretending like we're more spiritually evolved in the moment than we are, we want to pray from the kingdom we're in, which is if we're feeling worthless and powerless, then we believe at that moment that God's outside of us, and our prayer begins with, God, help me. God, help me. They say that when we're feeling powerless, worthless, a victim, we get down on our knees. Oh, God in heaven above, help me, this wretched sinner. Not very science-mindy, right? But if that's where you're at, you begin there. And I have. And to this day, I still will. Probably every day I begin on my knees. I'm desperate. I don't know what I'm doing. I've been so distracting myself and procrastinating and avoiding and chasing that I don't even know who I am anymore. And so all I know is help, help, help. I don't even know what I want help for. Just help, 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 help. And by beginning there, the grace is almost immediately, somehow magically, right? We get lifted up into self-mastery. Oh, I could do it, right? And then we're ready to do spiritual mind treatment and then evolve into, yes, now I'm ready to meditate unto the divine, right? And unify and become one with it and all those good things. But we can't begin there if we're not there. We begin at the beginning. We're learning a new skill. Oh, I remember a young one in my world saying, I think I suggested, why don't you become a dentist? Because they had just had an enjoyable experience with the dentist. I don't know where that kid was at, but, and they were interested in it. And I said, why don't you become a dentist? And the child said, I don't know how to be a dentist. I can't. I'm like, well, you learn. Well, that was a concept the child didn't understand. But I'm talking about this child, but how many of us think that we have to know everything? We can't begin with a beginner's mind, right? I don't know how to do this. Maybe I don't know how to make friends. Maybe I don't know how to make contact with God. Maybe I don't know how to love. Maybe I don't know how to fix the plumbing in my house. Maybe I don't know how to row, how to dance. Maybe I don't know how to laugh. But beginning with the beginning, acknowledging, I don't know how. But I can learn. But I can learn and expect to. So, our worthy work for the next couple of weeks, because next week is our gratitude event. So for the next 2 weeks, what we want to do is bring to light any habit of chasing and avoiding that keeps us unaware of what we are feeling. So all we want to do is just bring it into our awareness. She points out that when we're avoiding, a lot of times it's after the fact that we realize we were avoiding. It didn't look like avoiding at the time. I'll tell you, if I want to get something done and I'm procrastinating, the best thing for me to do is to decide to do something that's even worse. And so I'll procrastinate on the more horrible thing by doing what I've been avoiding to do. Okay. And am I in touch with my emotions? No. So what we want to do is just be aware. And she does point out, take a look at your cell phones. And most cell phones now do give you some information about how you've been spending your time. And so you might want to look at how much time you've spent on a particular app the past week. And again, it's just information. It's not to make you feel right. She says in all of our homework assignments, no self-blame, judgment, and putting yourself down. That's not allowed. But just bring up into your awareness how you have been spending your time. and ask yourself, is the amount of time and energy that I've been spending in this particular way giving me the results that I desire? Our homework, which I did finally this past week, right, was to come up with a list of, she said 20, I came up with 5. 20 things that you want to spend and give my time, attention, and energy to. And for each of those things to write down, I expect in return for my efforts, what we expect in return. So the key for me in getting this done finally, I realized I couldn't connect to what do I want to be spending my time, energy, and talent on. I just, that wasn't getting me anywhere. So I decided, well, what am I spending my time, my energy, and my attention on? And those 5 things came out easy as enough. And then I said, what do I expect in return? And I made a list of that. I got a list. Okay, what number 1 was knowing the truth. Ever since I started thinking about life, I've wanted to know the truth. And what do I expect in return for my efforts? Healings, demonstrations, clear improvement in all areas of all life. I expect that. That's why I'm putting all my time and energy in that particular area. I want to see demonstrations. Mine, yours, I don't care. I want to see that my knowing of the truth changed a condition for someone, somewhere, and in every possible scenario. And boy, that's number 1 for me. I give all my time, all my attention to that. I love it. And there it is. I came up with number 2, writing. Something I procrastinate on a great deal. And what do I want in return? That gave me a lot of clarity. Easy publishing, lots of positive recognition, appreciation, self-satisfaction, and money. And thank you, Regina, for her little insight as to what are the emotions that accompany this. And I will tell you, when I think about writing and what I expect to get out of it, there's a whole lot of fear and shame and confusion. I mean, it's not as clear as knowing the truth was. It's all mixed up with all kinds of other sort of things. So yeah, I expect a lot in return. And even if I got all that in return, I probably still wouldn't write, because all this other mixed up stuff in me. So our homework is to become aware of when we are not honoring our true self, being our true self, by looking at, am I avoiding or am I chasing? Am I doing this to make myself feel better because I wasn't feeling so good? Now, we know that's a good thing. That's a good thing. None of these things are bad. The only thing that we want to get aware of is, am I avoiding how I'm feeling? So for me, when I became aware of how lonely and sad I felt, which is causing me to overeat, I thought, I have to address this. And so I have to go make some friends. I have to bring some people in my world. I had moved from Manhattan to New Jersey. I didn't know anybody outside of the people that I'm meeting from the church. I had to get connected to the world around me. And so those behaviors of reaching out and connecting and joining different groups and getting to know more people was scary for me. And I would avoid doing it. But every once in a while, I would get the spiritual support and the energy to go out and do it. And so it built my self-worth. And so in my personal experience, at least in that particular thing, that need to eat, it just went away on its own. I didn't need willpower. The urge to do that in order to not feel lonely, it was just gone. Because I was still feeling lonely, but I was doing behaviors that was helping me feel less lonely. She points out that facing our emotions, and we'll talk more about this in a couple of weeks, she says to stay connected to your true self, we have to consciously open our heart. We need the backbone, the strength to face it, right? And we might need some spiritual support to get there. That's why, as Damaris suggested, ask for spiritual support. Go to our website, and there's prayer requests there. If we got once a week a request, we have 14 practitioners. That would be 14 weeks, right? But we probably get, and I'm being generous, guys, once a month a request. So you're all trying to do it on your own, that's fine. But if you need some spiritual support to face your feelings, this is the opportunity, okay? So we need to have that strength, spiritual support, to open our heart. And she said, to open our heart consciously, we have to become aware of our feelings. We have to become aware of any habits that you use to avoid your feelings. And you have to learn to trust your heart for guidance. You cannot get away from your emotions. The good news is you are not your emotions, and you are not going to die from any emotion, even though it feels really, really horrible. And I felt it, believe me. You're not going to die. You're just going to feel it, and it will go away. Your emotions are guideposts. That's it. To your true self. To your true self. It's self-love. It's paying attention to yourself. How many of us engage in athletic activities, ignoring how the body is feeling? Those of you who are here, you saw I'm wearing a mask because this whole week I've had various symptoms, the whole gamut of a cold. And when it first came on, which was just a little sense of fatigue, I really wanted to go to rowing. So I went. The body said, stop it. But the human Karen, that idealized version of Karen, she wasn't asking for much, this idealized version of Karen. She was just saying, look, you've been on a 2-week cruise. You haven't moved your butt. Get in the boat and row. That's good for you, right? But the true self, Karen, was saying, you're tired, don't go. So I overruled her, and I started feeling worse. Okay. So then I took a day off. That should be enough. And I had volunteered to hold boats for races. They were doing qualifying events for the Pan Am Games. Very, very exciting. And they really, really, really needed people to hold these boats. And I had signed up. And I wasn't feeling well. And so, yes, I got up at 5:15 a.m. to be there for 6:30 in the cold, in the dark, in the wind, to hold these friggin' boats. So all these people could win their races or not. And I loved every minute of it. But as soon as I left, the symptoms would increase. So, okay, let me stay in bed all day and drink orange juice and start taking things. And so I was doing that. But you see, then I signed up for Friday too. So I had to do it Friday because that's the finals. And they're even more desperate for people. And it might rain. So let's go out there and hold it. And so I did. And then I started coughing. The true self was saying, stop it. But I'm not trying to be Miss Perfect and please everybody. I'm just thinking, these are just normal little things. What's the big deal? The big deal is where we are is the big deal. How dare I, right? How dare we put ourselves down? Because that's not that important. Maybe you need a little bit more sleep. It's not that important compared to the big idea or compared to your physical athleticism or staying in shape, whatever it is. So we've got a lot to think about these 2 weeks. That's why I figured, then we've got Thanksgiving to deal with. God bless our families, right? There's some feelings to feel. Oh, so I'm not asking you to deal with the emotions. I'm just, or to feel the emotions. We'll do that after. Just be aware of the behaviors of avoiding and chasing. Just be aware. Just tell yourself, aha, I've been avoiding all day. So there must be some really strong emotions behind it, but I'm not going to look at that right now. Okay? Okay. I'm aware. I do it. Good, good, good. And then when we come back after Thanksgiving, we'll take a look at those emotions because we got enough on our plate, right? How many of us have been able to keep up with this worthy project week by week? It's hard to love yourself, right? It's hard to accept yourself just the way you are. That idealized version of ourselves is just so great. And we're so close, right? So close. All I have to do is just vacuum the rug one more time. And that's perfect. Bake those cookies. Put those lights out. That's all I have to do, right? And yet your true self might be saying, I'm not participating in the holidays this year. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not being called to do it. That's it. And the good news is when we honor where we're at and we really feel our emotions of where we're at, that's the way we will feel better. Long run better. Immediate better. As soon as the emotion is felt and expressed, you feel better. But permanent better. Permanent better. Because I really don't eat the Girl Scout cookies like I used to. You'd get one of those sleeves of Thin Mints. They'd be gone, right? Now, I don't even have to buy them. What can I say? I'm free of Girl Scout cookies. All right. So having said all that, let's see. Are you ready to sing something else?
I am.
He's ready. Good. So let's move forward in our service, and Scott's going to give us some breathing space.
Okay. Let me find my cheat sheet here.
This little light of mine you're at. And then smile, smile, smile.
Is that where we are?
No, in my own lifetime.
Okay.
Don't listen.
I'm not afraid. Hello. In my own lifetime, I want to see the fighting cease. In my own lifetime, I want to see my sons enjoy the fruits of peace. While I'm still here, I want to know beyond a doubt that no one can lock us in or lock us out. We have climbed higher, much higher than I thought we'd climb. It's a long journey, and even though the end's in sight, there's not much time. I want to know we haven't built on sand in my own lifetime. In my own lifetime, I want to see our efforts blessed. In our own lifetime, I want to see the walls come down. Then I'll rest. This Moses wants to see the promised land. In my own lifetime.
There we go. There's some list of things that we desire to see as a result of our efforts, right, in our own lifetime. And so before I do this closing treatment, I just want to also remind you that if you call our office number 24 hours a day, that number is 609-924-8422. If you press 1, a practitioner has left a spiritual mind treatment. Each and every month, a different practitioner leaves a treatment. And if you press 2, Reverend Damaris, who you heard a little bit earlier, is leaving each month a fresh Spanish treatment. So a treatment spoken in Spanish. So please let your Spanish-speaking friends know, because I don't think that's out there that much in the world. And, we need all this help we can get. So 24/7, you can dial the office. If I happen to be there, I won't answer the phone. You can leave a message. Yes, Virginia.
Number 1
And you're number 1?
on the phone. My treatment.
Oh, this month?
Mm-hmm.
So this month of November, if you press number 1, you will get Regina, who we heard do the welcome, and number 2, you will hear Damaris, and that number is 609-924-8422. 24/7. And again, I can tell whether people are calling it or not. I don't know who it is, but it leaves a little ding or something on our phone, so I can tell if someone's using it or not. And there is so much spiritual support here that we are not taking advantage of, right? Last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, we were talking about receiving, earning and receiving. So let's receive some support, because Lord, we need it. All right. But I'm not down on my knees at the moment. I'm in self-mastery, so I'm going to do a spiritual mind treatment. Yes. This word is being spoken for each one. Look, this one God, the creator of all, has created each one the way they are. It is all God's fault. And so each one is accepting this gift of life that God has created for them, just the way God created them, with all of their heart, their emotions, their mind, their thoughts, their whole being, and this whole entire world to play in. With all of this, the divine in creating each one has declared it is very good. God is smiling upon each one. God had a purpose for creating each one just the way they are. The divine never wanted anyone to be anything other than what God has created them to be. God has no idealized version of human being. God created human beings the way God wants human beings to be. And in accepting each one just the way he or she is, each one is capturing that light, that love, that life that he or she is, and is able to express in a world of abundance all of the love, all of the joy, all of the peace, all of the creativity that is present. And each one is loving themselves. And that feeling of self-love is all-encompassing, so that each one is able to love oneself with the love of a wise, supportive, intelligent father, and with the gentle, caring sweetness of a mother. Each one is able to feel this love, and it feels good. And each one is able to love themselves completely, and with joy bring the gifts of this life that have been given to the world, and to see the world stand up and cheer, to see the world accept and recognize, appreciate, value, and enjoy that uniqueness that he or she has to give. The divine loves each one thoroughly. This is at the core. This is what is behind every single uncomfortable emotion. The realization that all has been given, and that all the love that anyone could possibly desire is already given. in this acknowledgement that this word is truth. I release this word to that loving law, so grateful that it has made it so for each and every one in their daily, moment-to-moment experience. So I let it go by saying so, and so it is. And that's the way it is. All right, Scott, one more.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I saw a sparkle of rain. I saw it kissing a rose. It made me smile, smile, smile. I felt a butterfly's wing. I felt it tickle my nose. It made me smile, smile, smile. I heard the whole world sing and bells start to chime the day a baby walked for the very first time. The smallest moment of joy can fill your heart with a smile and make it all worthwhile. Hey, what's that look on your face? The world's a much better place. I saw you smile, 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 smile.
Thank you, Scott Allen, and thank all of you who are out there. Let me see, Lynn, good to see you. Kathy, Tina, Michael. Oh, I'm glad you all made it. Kathy, Sandy, oh my goodness. All right, Lynn, okay. All right, well, that's it. Hopefully next week the connection will be better. For now, toodaloo, have a good week.